benefit that is. All right, from the looks of it, we are damned if we do and damned if we don't, at least when it comes to gas prices. The Obama administration spent years telling us to drive less and ditch our SUVs for hybrids. And we actually did it. Well, not me, but other people did. Now, we might be getting punished for our good behavior thanks to a proposed tax that could raise gas prices and fill federal coffers. Is it a case of government gone wild? Absolutely. Here now, energy market analyst Phil Flynn, who's also a Fox Business contributor, along with the Tax Foundation's Scott Hodge, and my favorite economist, Peter Marisi. Thanks to all of you for joining us. You know, so this is really driving me crazy, because if you look at the stats, crude oil production up 17% year over year. We're fracking like crazy. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, we're producing more oil than we've imported. Americans are driving almost 100 billion fewer miles. So we had super high gas prices. Then we produced all this oil and we stopped driving. So prices went down. What's our reward for that? The government's going to make up the difference with a tax. I can't believe it. Peter, are you as hysterical as I am about this?
Well, yeah, I am, and I got a good constructive suggestion. We've always, taxed to use the roads, and we use the gas tax. Back in the old days, all the cars got 15 miles to the gallon. Well, look, if we're going to tax according to how much people use the roads as opposed to how much gas they use, which is what they're really proposing here, then the people with these high-mileage hybrids should have to pay twice the sales tax as someone with a gas guzzler. After all, it's the same wear and tear on the roads. But what really troubles me is how much they waste the gas tax money. For example, we spend enough on the roads, but it gets wasted because we have to, with federal monies, whenever there's federal monies involved, we have to hire unionized workers. Those wages are so out of whack with the market price that we can never afford the roads.
Yeah. Phil, I don't know. I mean, you and I have been covering this forever. We always said the only cure for high prices is high prices. They were really high. We did everything we could to fix that. I mean, we're drilling more, we're driving less, we're doing all this stuff. The government comes in and picks my pocket anyway. I'm furious.
I'm telling you, and you know what? Every mile that we drive right now is being subsidized by the government. This is just another case of taking money out of one pocket and putting it in another. You know, one of the reasons why gasoline demand has gone down, it's not because everybody bought a hybrid, that's part of it, but part of it is because we're subsidizing biodiesel and ethanol. You know, we're putting ethanol in every gallon. You know, so the government is actually subsidizing an industry, putting that into the gasoline, which means we're using less gasoline, which means they need more tax revenue. What's wrong with this picture?
I don't know, Scott. Those two guys just introduced even more problems that made me even more furious. I don't know. I mean, are you going to pile on top of all that?
Yeah, well, the other insanity is we're subsidizing people to buy hybrid vehicles, electric cars, and all of that. So on the one hand, we're paying people to buy these supposedly energy-efficient cars. And, of course, it doesn't raise enough revenues to pay for the roads now. So now we got to raise taxes on people who still have the old-fashioned cars. And so this thus begins the cycle. And then government has to look at all of these unusual ways of raising money, like putting a GPS in your car so it can record the amount of mileage. Then it's going to charge you for the amount of mileage that you drive. It's just crazy.
No, it's unbelievable. And you know, Peter, if they raise the federal gas tax as much as they want to, I think it's from 18 to 33, the average person spends $100 a year on federal gas taxes alone. I actually thought that was low. I feel like it's higher than that. But this would make that $180. It doesn't matter who you are. I mean, that's completely regressive. That doesn't seem like, you know, what the folks in Washington have said they are after.
More than that, why do we have tolls on bridges? You know, the tolls are on bridges to build the bridges, but they keep collecting the tolls, and then when the bridge is paid for, you know, they squander it on some social purpose. And think about all the money we've thrown into subway systems. You know, it's one thing to build them, but you got to see, you know, how inefficiently they're run. In Washington, the trains run into each other, and they pay these enormously high salaries for people that don't work very hard and don't get much done. I mean, all I got to do if I want to see a WPA program is watch a Metro bus go by. It's always got a driver and 3 passengers and 56 empty seats.
Wow. Phil, I thought I was the most irritated person about this, but Peter clearly just took my crown away. I mean, he's even more agitated about this than I am. What do you think?
Well, You want to get even more agitated?
Oh, no,
I'll tell you what.
I don't know. I'm
80...
starting to be sorry that I started this.
Come on. This is the weekend. You got a whole weekend to get over this
okay,
now.
All right, go ahead.
All right, we're talking. All right, $80 billion in stimulus program. That's what we spent with the Obama administration. Do you realize that infrastructure under Obama has actually gone down by a third? Where did the money go? That's what we want to know. I mean, we're spending
You mean
an awful lot of money on stimulus.
infrastructure spending has gone down by a third? Wait, what do you mean infrastructure has gone down?
Infrastructure overall spending has gone down by a third since 2008. So we're actually spending less on infrastructure. I thought we were having all this shovel-ready projects that we were supposed to be doing. You know, only $26 billion, I believe, of the $80 billion went towards infrastructure. The rest went to a lot of different types of programs that haven't stimulated the economy, nor has it fixed a lot of my bridges.
Yeah. Scott, what about you? I mean, are the roads and bridges crumbling where you are, or have you just given up? I mean, do we just all walk and we forget it? Like, I'm not going to drive. I'm not going to pay any more federal taxes. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I mean, I guess then they'll just start taxing my bicycle.
Yeah, I live in Washington, D.C. Of course, the roads are crumbling here in the nation's capital. My big worry is that we're going to turn to something like a carbon tax, because government is so they are so desperate for revenues these days that they are looking at that as one of the biggest tax increases in history, and it's going to be a cash cow for more government spending. I think that's the next thing that we're going to have to worry about.
You know what, guys? I invented this segment because I wanted to vent, but you guys outdid me, and now I feel even worse. I don't feel any better. It totally backfired, but it was fun anyway. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
All right, coming